begins on Saturday morning, when Bruce Lee's legions begin arriving at the Long Beach Auditorium. The tournament's earliest eliminations feature younger martial artists, competitors who work very closely with their instructors and whose faces reflect the raw essence of courage. Advancing to the finals is difficult, especially when a youngster finds himself slightly overmatched. Women are welcome competitors at the internationals, and after a kiss for good luck, the nation's most ferocious female fighters wage war on the floor. Kata and self-defense have their hour before the judges as well. Everything from repelling multiple attackers to foiling a purse snatcher. As for weapons, the selection is large and the performances intense. What makes this tournament the spectacle it truly is are the competitors, each one so very unique.
To compete here is something big to win, because this is where Bruce Lee started, and Mike Stone and all the great karate competitors that from the 70s until up to the 80s, you know, and so it's a big thing to come out here to compete with some of the best martial artists in the world and try to win this tournament.
Chillicothe, Ohio's Toki Hill is the only American ever to win the All-Japan Championship. He likes the action at the internationals.
It's fast, it's high peak action, it's focused, it takes a lot of control, and it's exciting to a viewing audience.
And then there's the colorful Frank Trejo, the defending overall grand champion and a 15-year veteran of this tournament.
The fighting nowadays is a lot better than it was back then, because go back 10 years ago, the style was very rigid still. There weren't that many combinations thrown. There were, if you saw anybody do a spin kick, then that was really something to see. Most of the time it was just, they face it, just hit up on each other and just see who scores first. But now everybody's using a lot more technique, and the kids are far more better fighters now than they were back then.
Frank Trejo used his own martial art expertise to help rock star David Lee Roth and the group Van Halen choreograph their successful Jump music video. So when Frank set out to work his way through the 2A heavyweight eliminations, David Lee turned out to offer moral support.
Frank has what we call a lot of practical experience.
Yeah,
which means the guy in red doesn't want him to take the gloves off.
Hey, Frank, what happened, man? You're damn tall, I can't reach you. That's a talent, man. I don't know about reach.
And finally, there was the Black Belt Team Grand Championship. Ron Ponell, oh, they're serious. They are dead serious. And Frank Trejo. Frank has a tremendous reputation here in Southern California, a tough competitor. This should be a good fight. Oh, a lead weapon backhand, look good. Did it score? The flags fly. Yes, point red. You can hear the crowd getting into this Black Belt team competition.
Frank just hit him with a very powerful reverse punch.
Right reverse, and another right hand over the top, Harry. In the best single match of the tournament, Sherman Oaks' team captain Ron Ponell and Budweiser's national team co-captain Frank Trejo battled each other to a 3-3 draw. Over the years, The overall international grand champion has always been the winner of the 1A or amateur division, the man who merely demonstrates his ability to disable his opponents. For even back in 1964, when fighters were far more traditional and rigid, a perfect karate technique could send a man to the floor. In that first tournament, Mike Stone emerged as the first grand champion, one of 94 matches he won during a career without a single defeat. Other former grand champions at the internationals include Alan Steen, Darnell Garcia, John Natividad, and the most famous tournament grand champion, Chuck Norris, who parlayed his martial arts prowess into motion picture stardom. And last, but not least, the great Joe Louis, a former full-contact heavyweight champion, as well as the only three-time winner at the internationals. He came to California from China in 1964 to take part in a very special event. The event was the first annual International Karate Championships. The man was the legendary Bruce Lee. 23-year-old master enlightened the crowd with his kung fu expertise, making that first annual tournament a major success.
You know, I have to ask you this, and I'm sure you get asked this quite a bit, but...
what was Bruce Lee like?
Well, what was it like working with Bruce Lee?
I had a great time working with Bruce Lee. We talked all the time about things related to martial arts. I think he was very, very innovative. He was creative. He thought for himself. I think he contributed a great deal.
It began back in 1964, the year a Chinese kung fu master and his good friend Ed Parker introduced karate to America. Looking back, that first international competition seems almost primitive. And yet, the men and women who listened to the teachings of Bruce Lee and those today who are walking in his footsteps all practice their art according to the same karate creed, which goes like this. I come to you with only karate, empty hands. I have no weapons. But should I be forced to defend myself, my principles, or my honor, should it be a matter of life or death, of right or wrong, then here are my weapons. Karate, my empty hands.